The position of the Duchess is coveted by all. I arrived at Duke Wiliot's estate and became engaged to their only heir, Layla. That summer, I turned 14, Your Grace, they would say. The Wiliot household is a renowned noble family known for producing the Empire's greatest knights. Thankfully, the Duke and Duchess from this distinguished family treated me as their own daughter, regardless of my humble status as a lesser noble from the countryside. They always showered me with delicious and nourishing foods, and I was always the first to receive any lavish or invaluable gifts. They had been so kind to me that even Phillen, their son, grew jealous, and I, in turn, loved them with all my heart. My son still has much to learn, the Duchess said. Please look after him as his wife and Duchess. I entrust Phillen and the Wiliot dukedom to you, Layla. Yes, Your Grace. I was occupied with learning my responsibilities as the Duchess of the Wiliot family from the current matriarch, while Phillen devoted himself to honing his swordsmanship. We seldom had a chance to sit down and have an actual conversation, even though we were engaged. But that didn't necessarily mean we were not on good terms. Are you done with practice, Phillen? I asked. Our relationship wasn't passionate like lovers nor particularly amiable like close friends. But whenever we had a chance to share even a short conversation, we were close enough to playfully tease and jest with each other. It's as if they're more your parents than mine, Phillen once remarked. Don't be silly, Phillen, I replied. Your appearance, your preferences, and even your swordsmanship skills bear a striking resemblance to the Duke's. I was so happy living with the Wiliot family. That is until one unpredictable day changed everything, Layla say. The rain poured heavily outside. I hope the people living around here remain safe, I said. Misa replied. We already made preparations ahead of time, so please do not worry, my lady, said Misa, the maid. You are so very kind. I am confident that you will make an exceptional duchess, much like her grace, Misa added. Do you really think so, Misa? Of course. And I do not believe I am the only one who thinks so, Lady Layla. Something terrible has happened. The news struck like a thunderbolt. The Duke and Duchess's carriage had veered off course and slid off the road. It'll be okay, Phillen assured. I'm sure they'll return to us safely. They wouldn't just leave us like this. But all I wished for was to see his and her grace walk through that door and cheerfully call my name. The heavens, however, were cruel and turned a blind eye to my wishes. Phillen tragically lost his parents and assumed his father's title far sooner than he'd expected. He fell into a state of dejection, withdrawing into the solitude of the training halls. As his betrothed, I had to manage all the Duchess's duties and attend to the responsibilities he should have handled as the Duke. To mourn the late Duke and Duchess's deaths, Phillen and I decided to postpone our marriage and coming-of-age ceremony for 3 years. Then, one day, the Emperor unexpectedly declared war on neighboring nations, and Phillen was called to serve on the front lines. 6 years later, you must be overjoyed, Lady Layla, Misa said. What? I asked. Misa say. I meant about seeing His Grace again. My goodness, it's been almost 6 years since he left. I'm thrilled that the war has finally concluded and that His Grace is returning. After so much time, I was grateful to have survived the hardships, the plague, the famine. Now, I could finally see him again. I wondered how he had changed in those 6 years. Misa say. Lady Layla, it's time for you to go and greet His Grace. All right. Let us go, I replied. Have you completed the preparations for his return? I asked. Yes, Lady Layla. We've just been informed that His Grace has passed the front gates. It wasn't as if I suddenly felt passion or affection for him now. But since we were to be wed upon his return, that's right, I thought. Once he has come home, we will. Welcome back, Phillen, I said. Phillen Wiliot had returned from the battlefield, with a woman in his arms. She think, I've waited for him for 6 years, and now he has someone else in his arms. This can't be happening. The woman has silky, glossy blonde hair and a dainty yet curvy physique. Even her skin looks soft, and she appears to have a baby bump. Don't tell me she's... There is conversation among maids that, that woman with His Grace. She's with child, isn't she? Why has His Grace returned with a pregnant woman? Is she truly carrying His Grace's? But what about Lady Layla? Then that woman and His Grace are. Misa shouted. Silence! All of you, don't mind them, Layla. His Grace would never do something so awful. This must be a terrible misunderstanding, Layla said. A misunderstanding, you say? But what if she indeed is carrying Phillen's child? Then what do I do? Should I behave like any other distressed woman, resorting to pulling her hair and screaming in her face? Or must I play the role of a composed noblewoman, concealing my anger and feigning indifference? But wait. Do I even have the right to be angry? I am not his wife, after all. I am nothing but his betrothed. I'm still Layla Tavessa, not Layla Williot. That means I'm but a mere guest in this estate, not the Duchess, Philip added. Well, it appears a hushed atmosphere has settled over the estate in my absence. And that includes you, Layla. Come now, say something. Don't tell me you've forgotten how to speak in the past 6 years, Layla say. Don't be silly, Phillen. I'm just a bit surprised. That's all, he say. By what? She think. What does he mean by that? He can't be serious. Is he just testing me? If that's not it, then is that woman carrying the child of another man? Philip said. Now. Let's get you down from the horse. You must be tired from the long journey, maid say. How could his Grace do this? It's not right for him to do this to Lady Layla. I can't believe what I'm seeing, Layla think. I can't make them stop talking, right in front of his intended no less. He isn't supposed to treat me this way, even though our engagement is nothing more than a superficial arrangement, he say. Right, Misa. Yes, Your Grace. Go on inside and rest, Cicely. You must be fatigued from the arduous journey. What sort of room would you prefer? Cicely reply. I would like a well-lit room, Philip say. Is that so? Well, you heard her. Misa, please escort the lady to the easternmost room on the 2nd floor. Pardon me, Your Grace. But that room belongs to, Layla think. That room belongs to the Duchess. I can't let anyone use the former Duchess's room. Phillen, might I remind you that room is the Duchess's? He asked. And, she added, no matter how ignorant he may be, this is unacceptable. You can't let just anyone stay in that room. It's reserved exclusively for the Duchess, Philip say. But my father was an exception, and so were you, Layla reply. The former Duke was the lord of this castle. And all I did in there was work. I never once slept in that room, he say. Still, that room has some of the best lighting, Layla added. There are other rooms, he explained. I hadn't anticipated you'd be quite so argumentative over an unoccupied chamber, Layla. I am the lord of this estate, so my word is law. Misa, carry out my instructions, and arrange for a maid to attend to her needs so that she may feel well cared for, Misa say. As you wish, Your Grace, Philip asked. Layla. Are you upset? No. All right then, Layla think. The man I was to marry has returned after 6 long years at war, only to allow a stranger to occupy the Duchess's bedchamber as her lodging. Are you all right, Lady Layla? She say yes, don't mind me. Saying that this bothers me isn't going to make the situation any better. I went through all the trouble of dressing up and preparing to welcome him, but instead, I find a man who has returned with another woman in tow. Though I simply wish to set everything aside and retire to my chamber, Layla added. Let us go inside now. We must prepare for dinner. Please escort our guest to her room, Misa. And one more thing, if you witness anything suspicious, report to me immediately. Yes, Lady Layla. I knew I couldn't retreat to my emotions, considering my role and responsibilities within the estate. Layla thought it has been 9 years since I started overseeing the Duke's duties. Having been occupied with the arrangements for Phillen's homecoming celebration, I knew it was now imperative that I start working on the overdue paperwork. Even those who once held reservations about my role as the acting Duchess came to accept my efforts over time. However, at the same time, they were not forgiving when it came to mistakes. Which is why I endeavored to put my all into every task handed to me so as to achieve flawless results. Every last detail must be perfect. I was so absorbed in my duties that I failed to notice the impending rain this evening. Whenever the storms came, I would weep in hushed sobs. I presume my emotional response is attributed to the rainy night the Duke and Duchess died. Layla whispered. Do you remember that day, Phillen? I suppose not. You must have forgotten what kind of pain I had to go through. That's why you allowed her to stay in the Duchess's room and then asked if I was upset. Excuse me, Lady Layla. Dinner is ready, Layla say. I suppose I got so caught up in work, I hadn't realized the time. It's Phillen's first day back at the estate since the war. I cannot miss the opportunity to dine together on such an occasion. Indeed, this is an act of courtesy, as a family member, even though it will prove somewhat discomforting to be seated across from him at the dining table. Misa reply, I understand it has been a long time since His Grace last saw you, but I believe he is exhibiting excessive unkindness toward you, my lady, Layla say. This maid makes for a delightfully adorable sisterly figure. Misa was the one who had assisted me all this time, he say. You there? What about this one? Bring it over here, she think. It almost feels like this estate has regained its vigor now that the Duke has returned. I should go past them as quickly as I can. I don't want to bother them, maid say. Layla noticed. Wait. It's almost dinner time. Where are you taking that cart? Maid reply. His Grace has requested that his meal be served in his room as he's feeling too exhausted to come out to the dining hall. Layla think. Does Phillen even consider me family? The former Duke and Duchess would say that they regarded me as their own daughter. However, those were merely words. In truth, I could never truly be their daughter. Although it has been over 10 years since I've devoted myself to the Williot household, I am still an outsider in this estate. As someone who does not truly belong to the family, I do not possess the privilege to demand a shared dinner. The servants are trying to make me feel better, but they all know that too, she added. But still, how could he? There's too much food for just His Grace. Well, did the Duke ask you to? Maid reply. Yes, His Grace wished to have dinner with the guest he brought today, Phillen, maid say. Lady Layla, man entered. My lady, there is a pressing set of documents that demands your immediate consideration. Of course, I am aware that this falls under His Grace's scope of responsibilities, but as you may already know, His Grace is, she say Baron Widgeard. From now on, Phillen alone shall assume the Duke's responsibilities. Baron say. Lady Layla, are you in there? What is this? Lady Layla, there is a pressing set of documents that demands your immediate consideration. Layla think. I'm not sure why I have to take care of this now that Phillen has come back, especially when he's probably having a pleasant evening with that woman. From now on, Phillen shall assume the Duke's responsibilities. With the Duke's return, these duties now come under his jurisdiction and no longer pertain to me, Bourne said to himself. I've been working for the Williot household for 30 years, but it seems today is the most peculiar day of all. I can't believe I've got to take this document to His Grace. I wonder if he will even be able to properly comprehend this paperwork. Philip asked. A document? Why did you bring it to me? Isn't Layla in charge of dealing with paperwork? He replied. Lady Layla had been temporarily overseeing the Duke's responsibilities during your Grace's absence. Philip say, but she's always done the work, even while I was still here. Well, your Grace, that's because you'd spent the majority of your time in the training hall since the accident. Philip think. I bet Layla sent it to me. Is she trying to grab my attention because she hasn't seen me in so long? PHYLL. What's wrong, Sisley? She say. I'm bored. Do the two of you still have more to discuss? Flip say you're with child. You need to mind your well-being and stay seated. Take it back to Layla. She's just upset. But your Grace, this paperwork must be completed today. Take it back. But your Grace, Cicely asked. Layla, she's your intended, isn't she? He replied. Yes. She added she must be very close to you, Phil, considering she doesn't address you formally and behaves rather comfortably around you. Philip say. She is. We were childhood friends, after all, Cicely reply. Still though, that doesn't mean she can talk to you like that. She's nothing more than a count's daughter, whereas you're a duke. Others might think so, even if she is your betrothed. He say. Do you really think so? She reply. Yes, I do. I think Lady Layla should treat you with more respect. Otherwise, your Grace's authority as the Duke may be regarded with less esteem. This is what's best for the both of you. Lady Layla say I will take care of it, so he refused to do it. Well, I didn't expect him to suddenly be responsible after those 10 years of negligence. But I can't just keep doing this for him now that he's resumed his position as Duke. I'll need to have a word with him about this at some point. I should probably ask about that woman as well. Baron asked. Are you all right, Lady Layla? She say. Yes, I am. I've rectified some of the document's contents, so please proceed in accordance with its instructions. Yes, Lady Layla. I apologize for the inconvenience caused at such a late hour. Layla say. It's fine. You may go rest now, Baron reply. Good night, Lady Layla. Layla became confused. Everything's alright, Layla. It's just a thunderstorm. There's nothing to be afraid of. Everything will be alright. Everything. I wish Misa were here with me now, made Misa say. Do not be afraid, Lady Layla. I'm right here for you, so don't worry. Okay, thank you, Misa, Philip asked. Are you afraid of thunder? Yes, a little, he added. Well, I will stay with you tonight if you so wish, Cicely replied. Truly? That makes me so happy, Your Grace. Philip replied, I didn't know you were still here. Maid say, may I take my leave now, Your Grace? Yes, you may, Cicely say. Wait, my back and legs ache, Phil. I believe it's due to the horseback ride. Philip replied, oh no, should I get you some medicine? She say. I could use a massage rather than medicine, Misa added. If it's a massage you desire, there's another maid far more skilled than I. With your permission, I shall attend to Lady Layla, Philip replied. Give Cicely a massage. Yes, Your Grace, I'll do as you ask. There's something I need to pass on, Layla say. Of course you do, he said. This is a letter of invitation to the imperial coronation ceremony slated for the forthcoming month. Only a month away? That's so soon. It takes approximately 4 days to reach the capital from here, meaning I only have 3 weeks to choose my attire for the grand ceremony. I'll have to call a master tailor for the dress first, then get some shoes and jewelry that complement it, she say. How long are you planning to stay in the capital? We'll need to get ready for the rainy season before we leave. We must also arrange for additional carriages and gifts without delay. From now on, you speak to me in a proper manner, understood? Why? He replied. We shall find ourselves participating in numerous formal gatherings as a pair. Should you converse with me informally, those around us might perceive our behavior as improper. You're not trying to embarrass me in front of others, are you? He's never complained about that before, so why now? Did that woman say something to him? Fine then. From now on, I'll address you with due respect in public. Good. Then from now in return, you'll have to address me as Lady Tavessa when we're in the presence of others as well. Very well then. By the way, I presume you shall summon a dressmaker to procure a new gown for the banquet. Of course. We're going to the palace, after all. In that case, Cicely can have a new dress of her own as well. What did you just say? Philip added. I'm going to bring Cicely with us and give her a little tour around the capital while we're at it. Otherwise, she'll be all alone in the estate when we leave. Fine, do whatever you want. So I was thinking that you could assist her in designing her new gown. She's our guest. And you, as the lady of this household, should look after the needs of our guests, Layla say. Do you truly believe I'm the lady of this house? Of course I do. Who else is there? We're to be wed, after all. If you're so well aware of that fact, how can you possibly ask me to look after that woman? Especially when she's carrying your child. Is that why you've been upset all this time? He said. It was a singular lapse in judgment. And Cicely now carries my child. You understand that I cannot simply disregard my own offspring. When she delivers the baby, she'll be sent away. You do understand, don't you? Trust me, the woman I'm going to marry is you. She'll be sent away. Does that mean her child is going to be accepted into the family? She think. I understand, truly I do. My father did the exact same thing. That's how I became Lady Tavessa. I understand. I see what you're trying to say, but do keep in mind that if you truly wish to marry me, you won't ask me to assist that woman with anything. Ever, man say. Things aren't looking too bright here, are they? They don't seem to be getting along that well, wouldn't you agree? It's so very strange, isn't it? The two were formerly conversing as friends, yet over the recent days, they've adopted a more formal tone in their interactions. Does it have to do with that woman? The woman who's carrying His Grace's child. What happens if she gives birth to a boy? What do you think will happen? That woman will become the Duchess, and Lady Tavessa will be sent back, maid say. We were just, Layla added. You don't need to make any ridiculous excuses. In fact, you're not entirely wrong. So go on, gossip all you'd like. I'm completely fine. I never expected him to love me in the first place. My only aspiration from him was the title he held, that of becoming the Duchess. It was my way of freeing myself from my own family. I won't say that it doesn't hurt to see my betrothed have an affair right under my nose. However, so long as she and I don't cross paths, I'll be fine, Cicely say. Good morning, she think. That was all I wished for. Good morning. The baby is growing quite fast. You can touch my belly if you'd like. There's no need, she replied. My apologies. I haven't even introduced myself yet. My name is Sisley Heliod, Layla think. Heliod, the kingdom of Mollis. I remember that the empire recently conquered this kingdom, and the royal family's name was Heliod. If her words are true, it means that she was the princess of the Mollis kingdom. But with the kingdom now gone, her name no longer stands for anything. Layla Tavessa, no matter, I have no business with her. I should get going now, Sisley surprised. Miss Tavessa, the royal family of a fallen kingdom typically becomes commoners, or even lower in social status. So instead of calling me Miss, she should have addressed me as Lady Tavessa. Address her properly. She's a lady, Layla say. Misa reply, must a princess from a fallen realm still be accorded royal treatment due to her former station? Misa, that's enough. I beg your pardon if she has given offense. My maid's unwavering loyalty sometimes prompts her to speak too candidly. I hope you accept my apology, Miss Heliod. Now if you'll excuse me, I'll be on my way. I shouldn't have had that conversation. My lady, a letter from Countess Tavessa has just arrived. From the Countess? Layla think. She sent me a letter? I shouldn't give it too much thought. Give it here. My lovely Layla, I hope you're doing well. I'm planning to visit the Williot estate tomorrow. What's she up to? I don't want to see her, but I can't think of a suitable excuse. Misa, it seems that the Countess is going to visit our residence tomorrow. The Countess is coming? Layla say, don't worry. There's nothing for you to take care of. No, my lady. If her ladyship is visiting then, Mai entered. Lady Layla, that woman, they say she's unconscious. Layla say, what? She's being examined by the physician right now. His Grace went running to see her. I see. Thank you for telling me. If Phillen is there, I won't be needed. Misa, about tomorrow. Layla, Phillen? He shouted. What did you say to Sisley? What do you mean? He say. Don't pretend you're clueless. If you haven't said anything to hurt her, why did she fall unconscious after speaking with you? Layla think. Is he accusing me? Did she say that? Did she tell you that I'm the reason? No, she's still not conscious. The physician has indicated that she might have undergone a considerable degree of emotional distress. And Sisley's maids have testified that you met with her today. Is that so? Did the maids tell you that I said something horrid to her? We met and introduced ourselves. I wasn't aware that addressing someone by their name was considered rude and shocking behavior, he added. Listen carefully, Layla. If something happens to Sisley and the baby, you're going to pay. So watch your mouth. Or I don't know what I'll do to you, Lady Layla. Are you alright? She added. Now I get it. Phillen's feelings for her are far deeper than I expected them to be. Not to mention, the position of Duchess was still vacant for anyone to claim. What lies at the end of this relationship might not be a marriage, but the dissolution of our engagement. My lady, I've received word that Miss Sisley regained consciousness yesterday and appears to be in good health. Okay, thank you. And also, Countess Tavessa has arrived. No one will just let me rest a single day, Layla say. Mother, you've made it, she reply. Good to see you doing well, Layla. It's all thanks to you, Mother, she say. Are you going to make me stand here all day? Let's go to the drawing room. Just you and me. We have things to discuss in private, Layla reply. That'll be better for me as well, Lady Tavessa say. You look radiant. Well, at least for someone who's about to lose their station. I'm not in the mood for a long discussion, so please just get to the point, Mother. I see you're as outspoken and brash as ever. Are you really looking to have a long conversation with me, Mother? Lady Tavessa added. You call me Mother so easily, don't you? If not, please make it quick for both our sakes. This is as unpleasant for you as it is for me. You act all haughty, but merely assuming the role of Duchess for a few years doesn't truly make the title yours. Don't forget that, Layla. You're still a Tavessa, Layla say. Is that why you came all the way over here? To tell me that? Did she really come here to mock me? Lady reply. I've heard some interesting stories. About the Williots housing a mistress. The girl used to be a princess, am I right? Layla added. It appears that someone has been whispering into your ears. Ladies say, is that your primary concern now? You ought to be concentrating on the fact that she's expecting a child. I told you to get married as soon as the late Duke and Duchess passed away. You didn't listen to a word I said. Look at you now, Layla reply. What's that? Lady say. It's a medication that aids in conception and pregnancy, and this is for getting rid of the baby. They say just a drop is enough to do the trick, she say. If you came to tell me this nonsense, you can leave now. Wake up, Layla. What do you think will happen to you once she delivers the baby? The engagement will likely be broken. Or if you're lucky, you might still become the Duchess, but only in name at best. Equals. What will become of you if you fail to wed and are left alone at an age when society shows little interest in you? You're not thinking of coming back to the estate, are you? I say this because I worry about you, Layla say. I'll pretend I didn't hear any of this. Now please leave, Lady Tevessa replied. Have it your way. I've said what I needed to say. I'll leave these with you, just in case. You'll have to make a decision sooner or later, if your position means anything to you. I hate Sisley, but not to the point where I want to kill her baby. The baby is innocent. If there's someone to blame, it's Phillen for betraying our engagement. But if she actually gives birth to Phillen's child, what will happen to me? My lady, may I come in? Layla say. Misa? Yes, come in. My lady, the tailor has come for a visit, she say. Is it time already? Well, I shouldn't be surprised. We'll be leaving for the capital in just 2 days, so I suppose I must get ready. What about the jeweler and the shoemaker? I've received word that they'll be visiting today as well. Could you tell them to hurry? I need to try things on with the gown, Misa reply. Yes, my lady, first things first. I shouldn't worry about those things for now. Is the tailor in the drawing room? Yes, my lady, Layla surprised. Could you have His Grace come to the drawing room as well? My lady, she say the Duke is already in the drawing room. What? Why? His Grace is teaching Miss Sisley how to greet guests. So they are in the drawing room together as we speak. His Grace is teaching Miss Sisley how to greet guests. So they are in the drawing room together as we speak. Phillen is letting her greet guests? Welcoming guests is a privilege reserved for the mistress of the estate. Servants say, It's an honor to meet you, Miss Sisley. You may stand. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance as well, not for a mere mistress like her. How could he? Misa say. My lady, Layla reply. No. I must control my temper. I've yet to assume the position of the lady of this estate. I'm merely a puppet, playing the role of Duchess under Phillen's approval. She and I are in no different a position. My lady! Are you feeling all right? That woman. Should I go and force her to leave? No, it's okay, Misa. If it's what the Duke wants, then I have no choice but to comply. Layla think, throwing her out at this point would only paint me as a fool. Their presence doesn't grant me an excuse to avoid entering this room. Your Grace. I didn't realize Your Grace was already here, Philip say. Lady Tevessa, you've come. Lady Tevessa! It's great to see you again. I've received your letter, thank you. Now, has my gown been completed? He say. That is. Miss Sisley is currently taking a look at the gown, my lady, Sisley say. Welcome, Lady Tevessa. What are you wearing? Sisley reply. Pardon? Layla, dear, I know it's far too early to give this to you when you two aren't even married yet, but this is a maternity dress. I had it made specially for you, dear. If you were to have a daughter, I imagine she'd possess great beauty. Darling Layla, I wish I could see you in this dress. Thank you so much, Your Grace, she shouted. I asked you a question. Why are you in the dress the late Duchess had given me? Sisley say. Well, Philip reply. I gave her permission to wear it. So do not be cross with her, Lady Tevessa, Layla shouted. Shall I direct my frustration towards you, Duke Williot? The frustration I harbor for having my dress taken without my consent? He added. You're being excessively dramatic over a mere garment, my lady. Besides, it's a maternity dress, which is of no use to you. Wouldn't it be better if someone could put it to use, rather than leave it idle on the side? She say. It wasn't left idle on the side. I carefully placed it in the most secluded corner of my dressing room so as to shield it from any possible harm. So how did Your Grace manage to locate it? I find it difficult to believe that you would personally search for the dress. Did Miss Sisley enter my chambers without my consent? Philip say. There was no alternative. Sisley needed to welcome the guests, yet she lacked suitable attire for the occasion. She asked had you arranged a dress for Sisley ahead of time. This situation wouldn't have arisen. Are you blaming me for this? She said. Forgive me, Lady Tevessa. I'm the one to blame. Please, Your Grace and Lady Tevessa, Don't fight over my wrongdoing. If only I'd had my own dresses, this wouldn't have happened at all. I beg for your forgiveness, Philip replied. You have nothing to apologize for. You've done nothing wrong, she say. I think I've been nothing but an inconvenience here. I told you. You've done no harm. Don't just stand there. Bring some hot tea and a towel, she think. A pregnant stranger arrived at the estate one day, thinking she might pose a threat to my standing. That's how I initially perceived her. But little did I realize I was the stranger in their midst. Let's go, Misa, some maid comment. I've heard that Duke Williot adores his new mistress. I know. Lady Tevessa doesn't seem to like her at all. She didn't even let her have one dress. Of course she wouldn't like that woman. I wouldn't lend her a single piece of clothing either, if I were Lady Tevessa. But what will happen to Lady Tevessa now? Are they going to end their engagement? Well, I suppose not. Most noblemen keep their wives and mistresses separate from one another, Misa explained. Maids and their big mouths, Layla replied. It's okay, Misa. I knew the consequences when I lost my temper in front of others. My concern is that I have to travel with that woman to the capital, after the trouble we just had. Misa became furious. You should have just left, my lady. You already have enough concerns on your mind. I would have left His Grace to do all the territory patrols himself, she smiled. This is my duty. Though it ends today, a week earlier. I believe it's time for you to pass on your duties to His Grace, my lady. His Grace has now returned. It wouldn't be right for you to continue doing the Duke's duties, Lady Tevessa, Layla added. I stand with all your opinions. I'll be leaving for the capital in a week. As of then, I'll delegate all my responsibilities to Duke Williot. I trust every one of you to help with the smooth transition, she asked. Are all the carriages ready to depart? Yes, my lady, Philip say. Lady Tevessa, you're here, she replied. It's been a while, your grace. Sisley isn't feeling well, so I will be riding with her to the capital. As you please, your grace, she said. Don't mind me at all. Yet, as I sat alone in the carriage heading to the capital, the absence of their company, oddly enough, deepened my self-pity far beyond anything I'd ever experienced. We have arrived, my lady. The road to the capital was rougher than I thought it would be. Are you feeling all right, my lady? Layla say. That was quite a long ride. I wish to get some rest, Misa. Dear, why is Lady Layla getting off the carriage by herself? Could there be some trouble between her and the Duke? Look! The Duke is getting out of another carriage. Who's the lady beside him? She must be the new mistress. Layla tink. I don't want to hear any more of this. Misa, take me to my room. This is the room reserved for you, my lady, she added. I've heard that it rains quite often here in the capital. Could you please arrange a room for me devoid of any windows? Misa say. A room without windows? But my lady, those types of rooms are for servants, she replied. I don't mind if it's small. Can you find me one, please? This room does have small windows, but it's at the end of the corridor, so it's darker than others. Would this be okay, my lady? Yes, I appreciate your effort. Then I'll have the stewards deliver your luggage, Lady Tevessa. Please do, Philip added. Layla, I believe this isn't the room reserved for you, she said. I requested a different one because I found this room to be more comforting. Is there any problem, your grace? He replied. Did you not switch to this room because it's right next to Sisley's? Are you suggesting that I deliberately rearranged my room to bother Miss Sisley? Sisley entered. Phil, there's no need to get upset for me. But since it has come to this, may Phil and I share a room? To be honest, I felt a bit uneasy being alone in such an unfamiliar place. I would love to have Phil by my side. Yes, let's stay together, my lady, Lila replied. I could use some air. Are you feeling much better now, my lady? Yes, I am. That's great. It's been so long since I've seen you smile, my lady, Layla explained. Your expression has seemed rather somber lately, and it had me a bit concerned. I had thought about ending our engagement, but as the daughter of a mere count, what could I possibly do if I end things with Phillen, a woman that's not welcomed by her own family? A noble lady who can't even dress herself properly. What can she do on her own? Let me go, let my sister go, she say. That's, you there. Stop, why this uproar in the middle of the day? A noble lady, boy think, huh? It's best you mind your business and just keep walking, maid say. I cannot excuse your rudeness. How dare you to speak, Layla added. Had I not witnessed what I did, perhaps I would have just gone about my way. But seeing you lay hands on that child, I cannot simply ignore it. Explain what is going on, boy reply. Can't you see? I'm collecting my debt. This girl took my money and didn't pay it back for over 6 months. If she can't pay it back herself, she'll have to work for it. Girl shouted. My sister owed you 30 gold. But how can you ask for 500? It makes no sense, she think. 500 gold? The imperial law permits a maximum interest rate of 30%, boy said. What does that matter? This is how it works for folks like us, Layla sy. You can explain yourself in court. Misa, go get an officer, boy shouted. An officer? Who are you to intrude? If you are going to walk around the streets unguarded like this, learn to stay out of other people's business, Duke say. Are you alright? You bastard, he added. Still haven't had enough? I don't plan on showing you any more mercy, boy reply. Of all the rotten luck, Layla think. Who is this man? Glossy blue hair, sharp eyes, fair skin, and opulent attire. He undoubtedly carries the appearance of a noble. Who are the noble sons of my age that I was unfamiliar with? You were reckless, my lady, she say. Was I? Why is that? He reply. If I didn't step in, you would have been in much danger. How can you be so certain? You seem to rush to conclusions, he say. Does that mean I'm wrong? She say. Even if you didn't step in, I could have defended myself. It seems that I've made a mistake. If I sounded arrogant, I ask for your forgiveness, she explained. I wasn't expecting an apology, but I appreciate it. I'm grateful for both your apology and for saving my life, he said. Not at all. About the fan you're carrying. I've never seen any weapon like it. Where can I get one? Layla say. I've made it myself. After the passing of the late Duke and Duchess, there was no one left at the estate to ensure my safety. Then, when Phillen went off to war, there were assassination attempts by those seeking to seize control of the estate. I'm aware it's not considered very ladylike to carry such a weapon, but I had my reasons for, Duke said. You are remarkable. A person who makes their own weapon to protect themselves. That is truly amazing, she think. He just said that I'm remarkable? It's something that I've never heard from Phillen. No, what am I thinking? I can't be comparing my betrothed to another man. I must get going. Misa, can you put my shawl around my shoulders? I must go see the Capitol Guards, Duke told her. The Capitol Guards, my lady? Are you going to file a report on that man? Yes, indeed. That man has violated the law by imposing an excessively high interest rate of 60%. The penalty for such transgression will be a fine of no less than 1,000 gold. I shall take my leave then. May the glory of the Empire always be with you, Duke reply. May the glory of the Empire be with you as well, my lady, Misa added. What a strikingly handsome and magnificent nobleman, my lady. It was as if a radiant light emanated from him. I can already envision the elegance and beauty you'll radiate once you become the Duchess, my lady. Up until not long ago, I was convinced I'd one day become the Duchess. But now, I doubt that possibility more than ever. My lady, the Capitol Guards are over there, man say. What business brings you here? I would like to report an incident I witnessed earlier on the streets. You can fill out this paper and leave it to us, Layla reply. I saw a man physically abusing a girl. Are you going to reinforce patrols? Man reply. We are a little short on men for that at the moment, ma'am. Fill in the reports first, and we'll look into it later. Who do you think you're talking to? She say. Enough. I don't want to make another scene, but I do feel the need to inform His Majesty the Emperor about the lack of discipline within the Capitol Guards. He shouted. His Majesty? What I meant by saying that was if you file a report, we will take immediate action to address the issue. Yes, that was it. Now, please do write down everything that's happened, Misa say. People here just don't listen if you treat them nicely the first time. It's getting dark. Let us return. Yes, my lady, it's rather unnerving to tread these streets at night, especially considering the high crime rate in the capital. Yes, I suppose, Layla say. Why are you following us? Duke reply. My apologies if I have startled you. I have a question I'd like to ask, he say, about our conversation earlier today. How did you find out that the crook was charging a 60% interest rate? Is that all you wanted to ask? No. How did you know that the Empire fixed the loan interest rate for lenders at 30%? She added. I'm also curious to know how you calculated that he would have to pay a fine of 1,000 gold. Forgive my presumption, but I sense your surprise that an ordinary lady like myself knows these laws, my lord, he replied. Indeed, it's uncommon for noble ladies to be educated on such matters. Of course, women aren't expected to govern territories, hence there's no pressure for them to study so diligently. However, I found myself stepping into Phillen's shoes, handling all the estate's affairs, she said. Well, the subject piqued my interest. But why all the questions? Are you also displeased that a woman holds an interest in matters of such official nature, my lord? Duke replied. No, not at all. I was just a little intrigued. Normally, ladies don't show much interest in these particular subjects, she say. Well, if I've answered all your questions, then good night. Very well then. I'll be looking forward to our next meeting, Lady Layla Tavessa. How did you know my name? He must have seen the crest on your fan. You are quite famous among those in high society. Misa whispered. It too surprising for him to know who you are, my lady, she told her. Misa, do you happen to know which household he's from? Misa think. I do not. Shall I look into it? Layla say. There's no need. He appeared to hail from a noble lineage of greater standing than a count. I suppose I'll run into him at the Emperor's enthronement party, Misa say. It seems his grace has returned. Perhaps he was out for a stroll, Layla, she reply. You should address me as Lady Tavessa, your grace. Philip. I've always felt this way. But it seems to me that you're quite rigid, Lady Tavessa. Does it please you to live that way? Layla added. I'm merely adhering to the request you made, your grace, he say. That's enough. It's giving me a headache just speaking to you. It's always so fun talking to you, Layla. You're really lucky to be so smart. I wish I could be as clever as you. That's what you used to say when we were young. Are you crying? Layla say. No, there's just a bit of dust in my eyes. Is that so? I see, Philip say. Anyway, Lady Tavessa, women like chocolate cake, don't they? I wasn't sure what women usually enjoy, so I asked the owner of the dessert shop, and he suggested this. She surprised. Did you buy that for me? Sisley said she wanted to have some cake. Layla say. Anything. What? She asked. Didn't you get me anything? He say. I did not know you like sweets. She think. And if you would like some cake, you can get it for yourself. Sisley surprised. Chocolate cake. It's all yours. It's delicious. Where did you get such a delicious dessert? Philip added. I asked the other nobles for recommendations on dessert shops. May I just dive in? I've always dreamt of tackling a massive cake like this. You can do whatever you'd like, she asked. Did you bring Lady Tavessa a cake as well? He replied. Why are you asking me this? She added. I just feel awful for eating this scrumptious cake all by myself. In my kingdom, it was customary to share good food. Lady Tavessa is like family to me now, so I'd love to share this cake with her. A cake? Yes, my lady. His Grace has sent you this cake. His Grace may have spoken that way, but I think it might have bothered him. Phillen isn't the type of person to be so concerned about those things. It's in the same gift box as the one he bought for Sisley. Is this the same cake as Sisley's? I feel like I might have made a fuss over nothing just to be gifted a cake. Misa smiled. I know cakes aren't your favorite, but do have a bite, especially on a day like this, my lady. Yes, I will. In fact, I was actually craving some. What is this? It's what's left of the cake Sisley was eating. This was meant to be a present, but it's just Sisley's leftovers. Lady Tavessa, Baron say. Miss Heliode mentioned that in her kingdom, they share delicious food as tradition, even if it's not fresh. She replied. Tradition. You say? Toss it out, my lady, she think. Phillen. How miserable do I have to be to satisfy you? Just what am I to you? Perhaps Countess Tavessa, who treated me, the daughter of the Count's mistress, terribly, felt this way when she saw how much the Count cared for my mother. I'm sure she felt awful, which is why she tormented me so relentlessly. But what's truly sad in this situation is that, despite all this humiliation, I still have to consider Phillen. Misa say. Lady Tavessa, aren't you adding embroidery to the handkerchief? Layla think. Embroidery? This banquet will serve as His Grace's first debut into society. And it's customary for men to carry a handkerchief hand-embroidered by their family or betrothed to such events. Yes. There was such a custom, wasn't there? Misa asked. Did it slip your mind, my lady? Well, His Grace was away at war, and you were quite busy. She say even if I had the time, I doubt I would have embroidered it. Why is that, my lady? Speaking of which, it's been quite a while since I embroidered anything. It's been enough years that I might have forgotten how to do it. The last time I picked up embroidery was just before Phillen went off to war. I had to do it because of the myth that carrying a handkerchief embroidered by your loved one to war ensures your safe return home. What was Phillen's reaction when he saw the handkerchief I embroidered back then? He added, "What? This looks nothing like our family's crest," she say. "Well, give it back if you don't want it," Philip say. "Come now, you can't take back something you've already given me, and don't worry. I'll be back safe and sound. Wait for me, my lady," she think. It could have been a wonderful memory if we were in different circumstances. Well, no matter how much I despise him, Phillen is still my betrothed. I can't ruin his debut into society. Misa, prepare the embroidery tools and bring them here. Right away, Lady Tavessa. That's the 22nd time you've pricked yourself with the needle, Layla reply. I didn't know you were counting, Misa told. I didn't expect you to struggle so much with embroidery, my lady. I assumed you'd excel at this as you do in everything else, she explained. There's no way I could be good at everything. I'm terrible at many things. Cooking and dancing are definitely not my strong suits. You've probably never cooked, so that makes sense, my lady. But dancing? You're not skilled at dancing? Layla reply. Yes, I've got 2 left feet. And no sense of rhythm either. I've put an excruciating amount of effort into perfecting my waltz steps, and thankfully have become a bit more natural, but I still have trouble following the rhythm. I find myself concentrating intensely just to keep up with my partner's steps. It's hard to picture you ever making mistakes, Lady Tavessa, she reply. I wish I had more time, but all I've got is today. I'll stay up all night to finish this if I have to. Finally, Misa surprised. It looks wonderful, my lady, Layla reply. Thank goodness you helped, Misa. It would have been a disaster if I did it alone. Shall we go and show it to His Grace, my lady? Right now, Misa added. Absolutely. Its significance won't truly resonate unless you present it to him immediately. His Grace needs to see the effort you've put in. It'll surely move him, Layla asked. Do you think so? I ought to freshen up, at least wash my face. Let's go, my lady, Layla think. It's kind of making me nervous. It's almost reminiscent of the time when I first gave him an embroidered handkerchief. Your Grace, Philip say. Lady Tavessa? What brings you here? Well, you see, Phillen, Cicely added. An embroidered handkerchief? Wait, that's the Williot family crest. It's significantly more exquisite and impeccably crafted compared to mine. Lady Tavessa, good morning. Lady Tavessa, you've arrived just in time. I was about to request your pardon for something. I heard embroidery isn't your forte, so I took the liberty of doing it for you. What do you think of the result? Today marks Phil's debut in society. However, if he attends without a handkerchief embroidered by his fiancé, it might cause him and you embarrassment in front of everyone. So I did it for you, Lady Tavessa, Layla think. She did the embroidery herself? Just who do you think you are? Cicely say. Why are you looking at me like that? He reply. Cicely gave her best effort for our sake, despite being with child. And instead of gratitude you offer her a harsh glance. I've often pondered this, but you truly possess a rather wicked streak, she think. It's that familiar disappointed look, accompanied by an air of arrogance, as if he hasn't done anything wrong in the slightest. I don't believe I'm the one out of line here, he say. Do you not find your behavior rather impolite, Your Grace? You're saying that I'm being impolite? Despite carrying Your Grace's child, she is nothing more than your mistress. It's unsuitable for her to be seen in public. Her position dictates a life in seclusion. Cicely, Lady Tavessa, Layla reply. Is it expected of me to restrain myself when a mistress boldly attempts to assume my rights as your betrothed? He added. She didn't intend to take your place. She was simply trying to assist out of genuine kindness, Layla reply. Sometimes, unwanted kindness can come across as intrusive. Lady Tavessa, she think, all this ruckus for a mere mistress. How disgraceful of him. You're free to take the handkerchief to the banquet, but please, refrain from mentioning that I embroidered it. I won't be telling others the same thing. He's embarrassed about having a mistress, and he lacks the courage to address it openly as well. Lady Tavessa, my lady, my lady? Why are you suddenly? Let's go. But the carriage is prepared for His Grace's use today, Layla. We have more carriages in the estate. He can use a different carriage. We're leaving. Right now, I desire to go to the quietest place there is. Look at my hands. Why did I invest so much effort in the embroidery? What was I expecting anyway? I feel so stupid. I'm so disappointed in myself. I'm sorry, it's my fault you couldn't attend the banquet. Don't worry. It wasn't that important anyway. Are you sure that you don't need to see a physician? Yes, I'm sure, Cicely added. I just need you here with me, Phil. Lady Tevessa seemed very upset. I must have done something wrong, haven't I? Philip replied. Not at all. Layla's been like that since she was young. She becomes quite distressed when she senses someone encroaching on what she considers her territory. I expected her to have improved by now, considering the time that's gone by, but it appears her personality has taken a turn for the worse, she replied. I'm not bothered if people judge me for being a mistress, but I'm deeply worried about what will happen to my baby. You need not be concerned about that. The baby will be registered as a member of the Williot family. Layla, as the stepmother, has the responsibility to care for the child, Cicely added. What if she doesn't? He replied. What do you mean? Did Layla say something to you? Well, no. But, he say, the way Lady Tevessa reacted today made me a bit anxious. What if she mistreats our baby? There's no cause for concern. What you're suggesting simply implies Layla isn't upholding her responsibilities as the Duchess. And if that becomes the case, she'll have to leave everything she has here and depart from this place, she replied. She will have to leave the estate. I'm really looking forward to our baby being born. Being a good father is something I'm really committed to. Is that so? Layla say. What do I do now? Can I truly maintain a place within the Williot family at this point like before? Duke added. You are. Why are you crying alone in a place like this, Lady Tevessa? She think. This man. He shouldn't see me like this, he said. I was just. Pardon me, my lady. You wouldn't want to harm your eyes, now would you? I'll do it myself, he added. This place is quiet, but it's no place for a lady like you to be unaccompanied, she replied. I just needed some time alone. It's nothing to be concerned about, Duke say. Does it have anything to do with you crying your eyes out? Layla asked. Will you help me solve my problem if I tell you why I cried? Let me see what I can do, she replied. Thanks, your words mean a lot to me, he say. I really mean it, Layla think. It's actually a very embarrassing moment, though. I feel like I always run into him when I am at my worst. That grip is all worn out. He looked quite skillful, so he must not just carry it around for self-defense. Speaking of, Phillen's sword seemed pretty worn out too. Lady Tevessa? Yes? Is this a strawberry candy? Duke said. When I'm gloomy, I eat a strawberry candy. It makes me feel better. I hope it works for you too, my lady. Thank you, he replied. No worries. By the way, Isn't this handkerchief? She asked. Can I have it back? This crest. Does this belong to your betrothed? No. I am going to throw it away. So, can I have it back? But why would you throw away a perfectly fine handkerchief? Layla added. Because I don't need it anymore, he asked. Then, why don't you toss it my way? She explained. Please do not jest with me. Furthermore, the handiwork on that handkerchief is rather lacking. It might not suit you to carry it, given the quality. Given the quality? Didn't you put an effort to embroider it yourself? But the threading is noticeably flawed, Duke say. Not at all. It's beautiful as it is, she replied. Beautiful? Are you serious? He said. My eyes are accurate. I'd prefer not to be lumped together with gentlemen swayed solely by a beautiful facade, unable to discern true value, she shouted. I was going to throw it away anyway. And it would be good if the handkerchief goes to someone who will actually cherish it, Duke explained. As a matter of fact, I have some questions for you, my lady. It's regarding taxes. The issue is quite complicated, and I was hoping for your assistance, Layla replied. In that case, wouldn't it be better to ask someone in charge? He added. I already did, but there hasn't been any progress, she think. He brings me a problem that even the officials haven't been able to solve. I'm not sure if I will be a lot of help. What a strange person he is, he say. I'm just asking for your opinion, so don't feel pressured, he added. In that case. So the issue is, in my opinion, you were of great help. I really appreciate it, Lady Tevessa, she replied. It was my pleasure, and I enjoyed this conversation with you. It's been quite some time since I've engaged in such an intriguing talk with someone, he said. I really enjoyed talking to you too, Lady Tevessa, Layla said to him. I'm glad, so he thought the same. Now that I think about it, I still don't know his name. If you don't mind, may I ask your name? Duke questioned. You wish to know my name? Try to guess. Guess? He replied. I guessed your name, right? So why don't you give it a try too, my lady? She say. Why should I? Well now, I have this strong inclination to guess his name accurately. Is it Lord Balin? No. Then Lord Elijah? Or, if not, Lord Logan? He added. None of them? Seriously? Layla think. I've gone through the names of all the lords my age. Now I'm really determined to guess it correctly. Can you at least give me a clue? He asked. A clue? It's my hair, she think. His hair? Blue hair shining brightly in the light. How's that even supposed to be a hint? Duke say. It appears this isn't your area of expertise, my lady. Are you teasing me now? He reply. Not at all. Then how about this? You figure out my name by the banquet, she said. So you're attending the banquet. This strongly hints at his station being that of a count or a higher rank. No one below the rank of baron is permitted to attend the enthronement banquet. The banquet, he added. You seem like you don't want to attend the banquet, Layla think. He already knows, so there's no reason to deny. Yes. May I ask why? If I attend the banquet, everyone will whisper about Phillen and me. He wouldn't take Cicely's handkerchief after my warning, but he wouldn't take my handkerchief either. I'm not even thinking about giving him one now, though. For a noble to attend his first banquet without a handkerchief, especially when he has a betrothed. It's the perfect subject for gossip among nobles, who thrive on whispering behind others' backs, he said. I'm sorry, I tried to stop you from hurting your lips, but it seems I startled you, she added. No, I'm sorry. I was distracted by my own thoughts. This banquet is my first social event ever, so I'm worried about making mistakes, Duke say. This event will mark the debut into society for many nobles due to the prolonged war, so don't worry about it too much, she replied. You are so very kind. You must be popular with other ladies, Duke explained. Of course I am, but I act like this only to the person I am interested in. I don't even spare a glance for someone who doesn't capture my interest, she think. How strange. If he said woman, it might have felt like a little too much. I feel like I'm not solely perceived as another noblewoman, but as the person I am. Layla, you really have a way with words, he asked. You flatter me, Layla replied. Are you really taking that handkerchief with you? Duke say. Do you not want for me to keep it? She added. It's just. It has the Williot family's crest on it. You won't be able to carry it anywhere. Don't worry about it. I am going to hide it and keep it all to myself, she replied. You certainly have a strange way of expressing that you'll keep it private. At times, he's all serious, but then he unexpectedly switches to a playful demeanor. He's definitely a peculiar person. Lady Tavessa? Yes, I'm coming. My lady, may I ask you one more thing? She say. Is it another question about taxes? He reply. No. This one is about you, my lady. Have you ever thought about becoming an official? Layla said. An official? Are you joking? No, I'm being serious, Layla told. In that case, you must have forgotten that women can't be officials, he replied. There's no law of that sort that I can recall, she added. While there might not be an official law, that's the accepted norm in society. My lady, what I'm asking you is something entirely different. If you had the chance to become an official, would you take that chance? Layla said. Of course. Please don't forget what you said, Man added. Look who's here. You're finally back after leaving me with the honor of tending to all these tasks. Your Highness Kalian de Chapelius Veldia. Duke, Kalian say. Have you done a lot? Does it seem so to you? Not even close, Guy added. I sincerely hope your plan isn't to work me into the ground, Your Highness, Duke replied. Why, of course not. You know how much I care about you. Then why are you always giving me all these tasks? Goose say. Because I have faith in you, God. Can you just fire me already, Your Highness? Denied. Or at least hire more aides. There's too much work to do. Duke, there, you are the only person I can count on. Should I just commit treason and spend the rest of my life in jail? But we should hire a new assistant, as you say, their reply. Really? Your Highness, will you hire more people? Yes, maybe one. Since you're at it, why not hire more? Maybe 3, Duke say. Or maybe you can handle everything on your own. No, sir. Not at all. 1 would be quite enough. I'm very glad to hear that. I'll be seeking recommendation letters from the nobility. Duke replied, let's make them take tests instead of recommendation letters. Exams to hire new officials exist, but it has never been carried out. This is because appointment of new officials has been done through recommendations or by appointing outstanding graduates from the academy. But if I say anything now, he might change his mind and pretend as if he said no such thing. Ver said, when should we schedule the test? A month later, he added. It's a bit soon, but I'll make it happen. What about the test subject? Just administration? Duke say. No, they're taking all subjects. Administration, tax law, politics, welfare, everything, Your Highness. You are seriously adding all these to the test subjects? I guess we aren't getting a new assistant. As you wish, Your Highness. Then I'll post the announcement after the banquet, Duke reply. One more thing, make sure to add. Women can apply. On the notice, Layla think, the day of the enthronement banquet. The banquet is held for 2 days, and I'm only attending today. The second day is set aside exclusively for the men's attendance. Just need to behave well today, but can I really? Phillen and I have been on the worst terms since the handkerchief incident. There used to be short exchanges between us, but even that stopped now. Am I needlessly concerned that things won't be any different even if we're in the banquet hall? You look magnificent, Lady Tevessa. Maybe it's the radiance of your hair resembling the night sky, but the silver gown suits you, my lady, she asked. Do you think so? Misa replied. Of course. No one will look as beautiful as you do in this gown. She's right. You look so beautiful, Layla added. I know they're just saying that to flatter me, but I haven't liked a gown this much in a while. I should reward the dressmaker once we're back at the estate. How's His Grace doing? Maid reply. His Grace is done getting ready and waiting for you in the hall, my lady. Okay, let's hurry. If we leave now, we'll arrive at the banquet right on time. My lady. No. The dress, Cicely shocked. I am so sorry. I was hurrying my way back to the room when I bumped into the door. Layla think, if she did it on purpose, it would seem reasonable for me to yell. But it just looks like an accident, and I would look bad if I yelled at her. Saran, how many gowns do we have here? Do we have any other silver gowns? It's not just any banquet, it's the enthronement banquet. The most important thing now is getting changed and arriving at the banquet as soon as possible. Misa say, we do have some back at the estate, but this is the only silver gown we brought to the capital, she added. I've already done my makeup and matched my accessories to this gown, so I don't have time to change everything. My gown is supposed to match with Phillen's attire, so I can't choose a different color either. It doesn't have to be silver. Bring me whatever looks similar to this gown. Bring the jewelries and the shoes, too. Yes, my lady. Tell His Grace that I will be late. Let him know that he can get going first. Yes, my lady. Excuse me, Lady Tevessa. Ver say, Duke Williot has arrived. He is here alone. Alone? Not with his fiancé? Yes, Your Highness. Duke Kalian reply. Why is he here alone? Something is wrong. Ver, postpone the banquet. Layla Tevessa. I had never met her before, but her name was familiar to everyone in high society. Her reputation wasn't exactly glowing, with rumors swirling about the daughter of a low-ranking aristocrat having a rather fortunate connection to Duke Williot's household. Whispers circulated about her involvement, and that the Duke and Duchess treated her as their own daughter. People gossiped that Duke Williot had an affair, and that Layla was his daughter. They even said that she was his mistress. When the Duke and Duchess suddenly passed away, leaving young Phillen to become the Duke, everyone tried to take control over the dukedom. Though no open conflicts arose over the dukedom, there were those who schemed in secrecy. But strangely enough, the Williot family didn't budge at all. They remained unswayed. Duke Kalian think, how odd. Phillen Williot isn't that brilliant. In fact, he is pitifully stupid. So I thought the Williot family would fall apart after the succession. How did they stop it from falling apart? Does Phillen have a capable aide assisting him? I should look into the Williot family, he added. What I discovered was very interesting. The only thing holding the Williot family together was either Phillen Williot nor an outstanding aide. It was a young lady who just had her coming-of-age ceremony that was holding the family together. Layla Tevessa. I forgot about her while I was at war. So this is her. It'd be a shame for her talents to be wasted by staying by that ignoramus's side. I wanted to let her show her abilities freely to the world. Their reply. Your Majesty, you must head over to the banquet hall. Is Duke Williot still alone in the hall? Vare added. If you are asking about his betrothed's presence, she has not yet arrived, Your Majesty. Duke Kalian say. Is that so? I'm pretty sure that she wouldn't miss such an important day. Did something happen on her way here, Your Majesty? You must head over now, Duke say. Postpone it. Pardon? Duke Kalian reply. The person I am waiting for hasn't arrived yet, so postpone it. Layla think. I did get ready in a hurry, but I arrived way past the estimated arrival time. The banquet must have started. There could be no worse disgrace than arriving later than the Emperor. I have nothing to say even if I get in trouble. I must handle this situation without tarnishing the Williot family. How odd. The doors should be closed if the banquet started. Why are they still open? Hasn't the banquet started yet? Thank God, it hasn't begun yet. That's a relief. He asked. What's a relief? You have no idea how troublesome it was for me because you were late, Phillen. Technically, it's Cicely's fault for spilling her drink on my gown. I don't want to bring this up now. There's no need for it. I'm sorry about, she think. Is that a handkerchief? Did he really bring the one Cicely embroidered? But it looks too old to be hers. Then where did he get this handkerchief? This one was embroidered by my mother a long time ago, Phillen reply. If I didn't bring a handkerchief, we would both become the subject of gossip, she added. So it was made by the late Duchess. I miss her, he replied. Why the long face? Are you dissatisfied that I brought this one? No, not at all. It just brought back memories of the former Duchess. But why hasn't the banquet begun yet? He say. His Majesty had a matter to take care of, she think. Is that so? Whatever came up, I wasn't late because of it. Thank God. Thank you all for waiting and gracing us with your presence. May I present His Imperial Majesty, she think. I can't believe he's the Emperor. Thinking about it now, the distinctive features of the Imperial family, who were blessed by the blue dragon, include vivid blue hair and blue eyes. That's why he said his hair serves as evidence. The war delayed my debutante, but how could I not recall? How could I, a member of the nobility, fail to recognize the Emperor? I must have appeared so ignorant, Lady Tevessa. Lady Tevessa, what is occupying your thoughts? She say. It's nothing important. Why were you calling me, by the way? It's nothing important. I am very happy to have you all today. Here's to the Empire of Carden. Here's to the Empire, Phillen say. Shall we? She replies. Sure. I don't like to dance, but there's no need to show people that Phillen and I aren't in the best place. I must step to the right here, and I must spin a little here. Spin to the left here, he say. You really are a terrible dancer. You aren't good either. Still, good enough to lead you, she added. Well, it must be nice to be so talented. He asked. Did you just figure that out? I meant to say it earlier, but your gown looks magnificent. What? He say. Your hair accessory looks nice, too. You must have spent some time getting ready, Layla reply. Do you seriously think this was the gown I prepared for today? Is it not? So he totally forgot that we got matching silver outfits, his suit and my gown. Maybe he just never cared in the first place. He think why? Did I say something I shouldn't? She say. Never mind, it's nothing. Aren't you Duke Williot? Duke Tanvert. I'm glad someone started talking to Phillen. Or I might have yelled at him in front of everyone. Excuse me? You are Lady Tevessa, right? Countess Marissa. Marissa say. Do you know who I am? Layla say. Everyone knows you, Countess. What are you two talking about? No. I wanted to be alone. Girl reply. Lady Tevessa? You're the epitome of elegance, perfectly befitting a future duchess. Layla say. Thank you. She added. When will the wedding be held? With the war over, I imagine it'll be soon. They ought to tie the knot swiftly, considering all the delay. Obviously. And you must hasten with having a baby too, Lady Byzantine added. Well, there's no rush in getting pregnant, is there? Considering the Duke already has an heir. Layla think. Countess Byzantine. Sophia Byzantine. Her name was Sophia Hudden before marriage. She is the lady of the Hudden family, once considered a candidate for Phillen's betrothal, just like me. Back in the days, everyone thought Sophia would be chosen as his betrothed. Of course, Sophia thought the same. She shouted, "How dare you!" Layla think. After finding out I was chosen, she came to take her anger out on me. Sophia added, "You must have done something to them. Otherwise, why would they choose you and not me?" Layla think. What she did to me was never spoken of again. Choosing to remain silent, Count and Countess Tevessa found it more advantageous to accept a bride from the Huden family rather than defend their unwanted daughter. Years later, I heard that she got married and became Countess Byzantine. I wasn't expecting to meet her here again, Sophia say. People truly ought to know their place. She wouldn't find herself in such a difficult position if she hadn't aspired beyond her station. Why the silence about this? Everyone's well aware that the Duke has an heir. And as far as I know, he adores his mistress. I heard she is the princess of the Mulus kingdom. She has a better lineage than you do, Lady Tevessa. Layla thinks she's subtly mocking me because I'm not truly Countess Tevessa's daughter. I guess everyone is walking on eggshells because they know about it, Sophia replied. Perhaps I was a bit too forward, Layla said. Perhaps. She was once royalty, but her kingdom has fallen. Do you not find it impossible to compare her to us, the people of the empire? What matters is the present and the future. I will soon be the Duchess, but you are a countess for the rest of your life. I need a little time alone. Is that okay? Yes, of course, Layla think. If they talk like that to my face, it must be worse behind my back. I'm so exhausted. I'd rather do paperwork. I want to go back home. Duke Kalian entered the party is just starting. Do you want to go home already, Lady Tevessa? Let me know if you need any further edits or assistance. Layla Tevessa, greeting the son of the empire. That makes me feel very distanced from you. This is why I didn't want to let you know who I am. What a pity, she added. I was going to find out at some point, he replied. That's true. So, do you know my name now? Of course. You are His Imperial Majesty, Kalian de Chapelius Veldia. That's correct. Since you know who I am, is it okay if I speak casually? Layla say. If that is what you wish, Your Majesty, he replied. So, what were you doing out here? Just enjoying the breeze. I see. It's quite hot inside. You must be uncomfortable standing there, she say. I'm quite fine, Your Majesty, he say. You talk to me too formally. Come on, take a seat. But, stay seated, she said. But Your Majesty, how can I stay seated when you are standing? Duke Kalian say. It's fine. You are wearing uncomfortable shoes, she replied. If you insist, I'll gladly accept your kindness, he added. Sure, please do. So, are you having fun at the party? I am, thanks to Your Majesty. Don't try to fool me. You looked quite bored earlier. Honestly, it's boring for me as well. I would rather tend to paperwork than be at a party. Don't you agree, Lady Tevessa? Layla think. He was thinking the same thing as me. I can't believe the emperor of an empire doesn't enjoy these types of festivities. I feel like I can still have a conversation with him even when I'm aware of his status. He asked, Why are you looking at me like that? My sincerest apologies. Instead of an apology, I would really like to know why you were staring at me, she replied. Well, is something on my face? No, Your Majesty. Then, do I look uglier than usual? She think. Why is he asking such a thing so seriously? Was I not supposed to laugh like this? Please excuse me, he added. No, I wasn't looking at you because something was wrong. I was just enjoying watching you laugh. I hope you don't get me wrong, she say. You're always teasing me. No, I'm not. I've been telling you the truth. But you think I'm just teasing you, Layla replied. Is this how you talk to others too? Yes, but only to people I like. Does that mean you like me, Your Majesty? Emperor replied. Yes, I do, Layla asked. Why? Emperor Kalian say. Do I need a reason to take a liking to someone? She say. Don't people normally have a reason? Like what? She think. Reasons like their appearance or intelligence, he reply. Are both those qualities supposed to indicate you, Lady Tevessa? Not at all. I believe you underestimate your true worth. Well, finding and polishing a rough diamond is quite an intriguing endeavor. Servant entered. Your Majesty, it's time for you to get going, she think. He's leaving. I should bid him farewell. Oops. Lady Tevessa, are you okay? Yes, I'm sorry, Your Majesty. Duke Kalian say. You should say thank you instead of sorry. Thank you? If you're hurt, I'll call a physician for you, she reply. No, I'm fine. That's a relief. Layla think. How clumsy of me. No matter how kind he is, if anyone saw me lose my footing. Phillen? Layla, you? Why are you being unfaithful to me? Unfaithful? Who? Layla thought, confused. Is he talking about me? You dare to display such blatant unfaithfulness out here? Your audacity is astounding. Phillen accused her. What are you talking about? Layla asked, still unsure of his words. Enough with your nonsense. Phillen snapped. Are you denying it? Even when I saw it with my own eyes? He was furious now. Are you talking about my conversation with His Majesty? Layla asked, trying to understand the source of his anger. It wasn't just that. You even fell into his arms. Phillen accused her. I didn't fall into his arms. He was just helping me. Layla replied, defensive. Are you seriously asking me to believe that? Then why did you smile so brightly at His Majesty? Phillen demanded, voice rising. Am I supposed to frown at His Majesty then? Or be upset at him? Layla shot back, confused. You've never smiled at me like that. Phillen retorted, hurt. Do you want me to? Layla asked, her voice tinged with sarcasm. I didn't smile in front of you because I didn't have any reason to. Look at how you've been behaving. How am I supposed to smile at you? Layla explained. I haven't done anything. Phillen muttered, still unsure of what was happening. Is it because of Sisley? Layla asked, finally grasping the situation. Like I said before, I am only looking after her because she is pregnant with my child. She'll leave once she gives birth. Phillen replied, his tone defensive. I don't trust you. Layla said quietly. You, of all people, should still have faith in me. Phillen insisted. Then you should behave in a manner that earns my trust. You only defend her and don't care about me at all. How am I supposed to trust you then? Layla responded, growing frustrated. Well, Sisley's by herself, and you're quite capable of taking care of yourself. Phillen said, his tone a mix of defensiveness and confusion. He has no idea what I've been through all on my own all those years. Layla thought bitterly. Just be honest with me. Are you even considering marrying me? I have a feeling you're aiming to make her both your wife and the Duchess. Layla said, her voice filled with a mixture of hurt and suspicion. Of course not. Phillen replied quickly. No, I don't believe you. Layla shot back. If you are telling me the truth, then prove it to me, perhaps by removing her from the estate at this point. Layla continued, her voice lowering with a touch of sarcasm. Is what I'd like to say, but I would look pathetic and pitiful. Either way, she carries his child, so we must look after her. She added quietly. You are saying I should show you with my actions? Phillen asked, still uncertain. Yes. Layla confirmed. All right. Phillen said, a resigned sigh escaping him. Wait, Phillen! Layla called after him. Your Majesty. Phillen said, turning to the Emperor. What can I do for you, Duke Williot? The Emperor asked with a formality that contrasted the personal tension in the air. I must ask for your approval, Your Majesty. I humbly request your blessing for the union between me, Phillen Williot, and Layla Tavessa. The Duke Phillen. Say, what is he saying? Layla thought, confused and surprised. I cannot approve that. The Emperor Kalian coolly. Seems like he has no idea. How can he be so foolish and dim-witted? Layla mused internally, watching the exchange unfold. May I ask why we do not have Your Majesty's approval? Duke Williot inquired, puzzled. You really have no idea, do you, Duke Williot? The Emperor said with a touch of disdain. Is it that Your Majesty truly has affection for? The Duke began, but the Emperor cut him off. Of course His Grace knows the reason. The Emperor continued, voice steady. When there is a significant event involving the imperial family, nobles refrain from hosting celebrations of any kind for 3 months. And this banquet is to celebrate the Emperor's enthronement, Layla said. His Grace is well aware of the custom, so you know very well. Then why are you asking for my approval now? The Emperor asked, clearly irritated. We need Your Majesty's blessing now to get married this year, the Duke explained. I'm certain Your Majesty is aware that higher status demands a lengthier marriage process. She say His Grace was hoping to get married this year, so he came to ask Your Majesty for approval. Didn't you, Your Grace? Yes, that's right, the Duke confirmed. Duke Williot must love Lady Tavessa a lot, the Emperor remarked, his tone softening slightly. So it seems. That's probably why he tried to get the approval in advance. I thought their relationship was falling apart because of his mistress, but then again, no mistress can take the place of a wife. The Emperor mused, his thoughts drifting. She upheld the Duke's dignity and brought the public to her side as well. The Emperor added, Now I understand your intentions, but I tend to be a bit particular. Let's revisit this matter in a month, the Emperor said, as if dismissing the Duke's request. "You're capable of that much patience, aren't you, Duke Williot?" the Emperor asked, his tone almost mocking. "Of course, Your Majesty," the Duke replied with a bow. Layla think, "Each time I see her, it becomes more difficult to stand by and do nothing." The Duke thought, his resolve growing stronger. "She's far too clever to waste away beside that ignoramus forever." He continued deep in thought. "I should push Ver to proceed with the test," he murmured under his breath. "Why does he seem so distressed since earlier?" Layla wondered, noticing the change in his demeanor. "Why didn't you tell me about such customs before?" the Duke asked, his frustration evident. "What did you say?" Layla asked, trying to follow the conversation. "Did you want to see me embarrass myself?" the Duke accused. "Of course not," she replied, his voice tinged with irritation. "The absurdity of his words is beyond belief. How could I have predicted what you would do and told you beforehand? Regrettably, I lack the ability to see into the future," the Emperor said, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "You could have at least tipped me off," the Duke grumbled. "Why do I have to listen to him talking to me like this? It's so upsetting," she thought, seething internally. "It's because I'm not the Duchess. I'm simply the useless daughter of a low-ranking count," Layla thought bitterly, feeling the sting of her position. "Sisley," he called out, her emotions a mix of confusion and anger. "He likes her that much, and he's saying that he'll kick her out?" Layla thought, feeling a sense of disbelief. Will everything truly be fine as it is? She wondered, unsure of what the future held. "My lady," Layla say, "this is good enough. I don't have time to eat," Misa replace. "But you skipped lunch because you were sending His Grace off." "It's fine. I'll try to make some time for dinner though," Sisley say. "Are you busy, Miss Tavessa?" "Sisley? This is the first time she came to see me personally. Why is she here? Should I prepare tea, my lady?" Layla say. "That won't be necessary. You may leave the room." "How have you been, Miss Tavessa?" Layla reply. "What brings you here?" "I am a little busy at the moment," she say. "It won't take long. Phil told me that we are going back to the estate, is that right?" "Yes, that's correct," she asked. "Is there any chance of you going out before then?" "Going out? Why are you asking me that?" Sisley reply. "I was hoping you could help me buy a few things. I would love some clothes and toys for the baby." "Why the long face? Is something wrong?" Layla say. "And what would I do that for you?" Sisley added. "Because you will be this baby's stepmother. In my homeland, my ladies-in-waiting would have cared for the baby. However, I'm without any here, which is why I'm asking you, as your role aligns closest with that of a lady-in-waiting." Layla think, she's trying to treat me as if I'm one of her ladies-in-waiting? What she wants is so transparent that it's almost comical. "Cut the act and leave." "What act?" "I was hoping that you, Miss Tavessa," Layla said. "Stop calling me Miss. Call me Lady Tavessa from now on. Along with your fallen kingdom, the Heliod name carries no weight or status anymore," Sisley say. "It doesn't mean that I'm no longer a princess. You were a princess, Miss Sisley. Without a last name, you're nothing but a mere commoner now. And yet I still treat you with respect only because you're pregnant with his child. I shall ensure your proper treatment until you've delivered the child and departed. I'd advise against stirring up trouble until then." Sisley reply. "Departed," Layla added. "I thought Phillen told you about it. He said you will leave once you give birth." "Of course he hasn't brought it up yet. I can't say I will be a good mother to the child, but I assure you the child will not be neglected. So don't worry about the child when you leave, Miss Sisley." Maid say. "Are you okay, my lady? Do you mind getting rid of that sofa and cleaning up the room? I think it's about time I had a change of scenery and a bit of rest." "Yes, my lady," she think. "This is not working. I still can't concentrate. Maybe I'll take a moment to rest. I have a lot to do, so just a short break." Phillen, he say. "Why did you do that?" Layla think. Clearly, it's about Sisley yet again. "What do you mean?" he asked. "Why did you speak so harshly to Sisley?" "Harshly? She is no longer a princess, yet she continues to act rudely towards me. She also didn't know that she has to leave after giving birth, so I simply informed her about it." Duke Phillen say. "She has just lost her kingdom. Did you really have to say such awful things to her?" "It was my job to tell Sisley that she has to leave, not yours," Layla say. "So? Did you at least tell her that everything I said was true? See? You couldn't tell her, so I did your job for you." "Who do you think you are?" she reply. "Who? I am your betrothed. Yes, you are my betrothed, not the Duchess. Layla, you must be confused because you've spent 10 years in this estate, but you are not the Duchess yet. You don't have a say in how I handle what happens here. Layla Thinuk. I tried my best for the previous Duke and Duchess, since they treated me as if I were their real daughter. I devoted myself to serving the Williot family for all those years, and yet you're belittling me for someone like her, he say. Do you understand? Understood, he added. Then, so I'm done, she replied. What? Please forgive me, your graces. You gave me so much love, but I can't do this anymore. Like you said, I am Layla Tavessa, so I won't be taking care of the Williot family's affairs anymore. Duke Phillen replied. What? I didn't see you as such an irresponsible person. What are you talking about, Phillen? Layla added. Did you forget whose job this actually is? These are your duties as the Duke, but you neglected your responsibilities entirely, leaving me to fill your role. I suppose this means I no longer need to tend to the Duchess's duties either. Since I am nothing but a count's daughter, those responsibilities also fall on you, he replied. You think I will back down if you act this way? Did you think I'd ask for your forgiveness if you told me you're no longer overseeing the estate's affairs? She say. No, that wasn't what I intended. I'm simply following the expectations of my position, just as you've mentioned, Duke Phillen say. So, this is how you're going to be? I don't believe there's anything more to discuss, so I'll take my leave. I'm feeling quite fatigued. My lady, these letters have been sent by aides of the... Listen, Layla added, all work-related letters will go to His Grace from now on, but His Grace will be responsible for handling all estate matters starting today, so give them to him. Misa say, my lady, did something happen between you and His Grace? Layla said. You can get going. Servant entered. Your Grace, these are the documents Lady Tavessa asked to be delivered to you, he replied. So this is the way it goes. You know what? I can do this myself. Why is an entire month's budget necessary to prepare for the rainy season? Has she been spending so much money on every rainy season? Layla may not be as smart as she seems, spending so much money on the rainy season every year. Duke think, maybe I ought to ask Layla to re-examine the revised sum of money. No, I should do it on my own to stop her from acting so snobbish. Then she won't be able to look down on me anymore, so I need to check the budget without Layla's help. How do I know whether it is suitable? I should check the records left by the previous dukes. Yes, Your Grace, they said. Bring the key to the library. I will be headed there right away. Yes, Your Grace. Phil, what are you up to? Sisley, I was just reading some documents, she say. Then, I guess you're too busy to spend time with me. I was hoping you could spend some time with me after what happened with Lady Tavessa, he replied. It's all right. I can stay with you. Really? But I thought you were busy. It's nothing urgent. It's not. I'm so glad, servant added. Your Grace, I brought the key. I'll do that later. Leave the key here. Yes, Your Grace. Preparation for the rainy season, possible safety issues. You're pregnant yet you're still so slender. No one will think you're pregnant since you're so slim, she said. No, I gained a lot of weight, he replied. It appears your stomach's the only thing that's gotten a bit heavier. Let's check if any other part of you has changed. Phil. It tickles Phil, she think. Does he intend on hiring a wizard to brace for the rainy season? Phil, can I ask you for a favor? Promise me that you'll say yes before I tell you what it is, he asked. You want me to agree before hearing what it is? Please, Phil. It's for the baby's sake. For the baby's sake? Then, of course, she smiled. Really? The favor I want to ask of you, Layla thought. I barely got any sleep. I don't know what to do now that I don't have any work to do. What do people do when they have free time? Maybe I should read some books. Actually, that's a great idea. I'll head to the library right now. Sorry, my lady. The key is currently in His Grace's possession. Doesn't the butler usually manage the keys of this house? Yes, but His Grace asked for the key last night, so I handed it over to him. Layla think. I see. Phillen in the library? Not at the training ground? That's rare. Maybe it's because of the documents? That's unexpected. I thought he wouldn't care much about the paperwork. No spare keys I can use, servant replied. For security issues, we only have one key to the library. If we lose the key, we change the lock. She became confused. So that means, I must go to Phillen to get the key. It's very awkward to see him after handing over all the work to him. Is His Grace in the library right now? No, he's still in bed. Then he must be with Sisley too. Well, I guess I should give up on the library for now. Okay then, Misa say. My lady, Lord Widgeard is calling you. It's been quite a while, my lady, she say. Baron, might I ask why it is that you've called today? I've called to discuss preparations for the rainy season, as I thought. This is the only reason he would contact me at this time of the year. About that, I'm no longer in charge, voice came. Pardon? What do you mean? She added. His Grace will be taking care of everything regarding the estate's affairs, he replied. His Grace will? I understand, but getting ready for the rainy season is quite urgent. Can you at least help me check how far he's gotten on this matter? Why not do it yourself? He added. I wish I could, but the magic sphere is running out of time. Please, my lady. The documents must be sent to me by today to move along with preparations, Layla said. No. The sphere must have run out of time. Well, I heard this magic sphere requires at least 2 days of charging even for a short use. I have to go talk to His Grace, Sarah. It's still very awkward with him, but I can't overlook important issues. I should ask him for the key while I'm at it, Cicely asked. Do you need something? She wears her necklace when she sleeps. That's very interesting. Where is His Grace? Cicely replied. He is still asleep. He overworked last night, Layla say. When will he be up then? Cicely replied. Don't you think that's up to Phil? Layla added. She's not even pretending to be courteous in front of me anymore. Well, then once he's woken up, let him know that I was looking for him. He entered. No need to. What brings you here, Lady Tevessa? Ver say. Your Majesty, may I ask what it is that you're looking at? Emperor replied. It just looks like an ordinary handkerchief. Isn't it pretty? Ver say. Do you need glasses? Does your eyesight have problems, Your Majesty? No. What are you doing? Empress say. Sorry, my eyesight must be getting worse. I didn't see your desk there. He's lying. How is the test preparation going? Ver reply. About that. There's something I've been meaning to ask. Are these questions difficult enough? Are you joking? Are you trying to hire incompetent people to work for me? These are already difficult, Your Majesty. Says who? Redo the entire thing, but ramp up the difficulty tenfold this time, he shouted. Tenfold? You are planning to hire new assistants, aren't you? Well, it'll be after the exam for me to decide whether to choose to hire that person or not. No need to. Lady Tevessa, if you're here to apologize about last night, she think. Apologize? What is he talking about? Layla said. Do I have something to apologize for, Your Grace? Baron Widgeard reached out to me because he seemed unaware that all estate matters had fallen under your jurisdiction. He requested that you send him the authorized documents for preparing for the rainy season. Duke Phillen added. That. I've just finished reviewing them and granted my approval. Speaking of, did you write the documents? She replied. The aide wrote it, but I made all the final edits. Is something wrong? Were there any problems or issues with the documents? He added. There were, but I won't tell you. You no longer have anything to do with it, and I don't think I'll need your help. Layla thick. Must he say it that way? Duke Phillen. So, I hope you don't come looking for me for such reasons. Let's go back in, Sisley, she asked. The key to the library. I didn't even have a chance to ask for it. Is that so? His Grace sent the documents? Yes. There's nothing to worry about, my lady, she replied. Okay, thank you, Layla think. I was worried that I might have to go talk to him again if he didn't send it within today. I should really stop caring about it. I don't want him arguing with me again. What is this? An invitation? I doubt that Count Byzantine invited me. Then did Sophia send this? She wants to get revenge for what happened at the banquet. It's absurd, maid say. Did you hear the news, my lady? What news? His Majesty is hiring a new aide, Layla replied. Hiring a new aide? Was there an official announcement? Maid added. Yes, and it also explicitly states that gender isn't a factor in the application process. It's such big news to everyone right now, Layla think. Women can apply. Of course, they never said that women couldn't apply for that position, but they never clearly specified that either. If you have the chance to become an official, will you take that chance? Is it because of me? What did you say, my lady? Sarah, find out more about the announcement and get back to me. The exam will be in a month, and it covers 7 subjects, including administration, tax law, politics, and welfare. It's quite a wide range of subjects, but considering it's for the closest aide to the emperor, competence is key. The role's weighty. It's not something to attempt lightly. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to give up. If you're studying politics, this is a good book to read, rather than the one in your hand. Your Majesty, don't call me that outside, she replied. Thank you for the recommendation, but I already read that book. Is that so? How about this one? That one too? What about this one? And that one? This one? Don't tell me you read this too, Emperor Phillen say. I don't think you need to study politics anymore. I think I might need to make the exam more difficult. By the way, if you have some time to spare, can you help me, my lady? I'm in need of your assistance, Layla surprised. My assistance? He said he needs help, so I followed him out. What is he looking for? This seed can be planted even during rainy seasons. Interestingly, it thrives and grows better when it pours. Really? I heard the rainy season is getting close here. If you plant this seed, you won't have to worry about crops dying due to heavy rain. Those seeds, then I will buy them. You shouldn't, Sir Cal. I shouldn't? Layla say. This merchant is lying. Lying? What are you talking about, my lady? I know that this is a quilt seed, she added. Quilts are typically cultivated by Eastern nomads. So, it's misleading to claim there wouldn't be issues cultivating them during the rainy season. Really? Man reply. It's my first time selling seeds, so I must have been mistaken. She think. He's selling all these seeds and then offers this excuse? What nonsense, Man added. Those seeds are a token of my apologies. Please take them. Now, I really must be going, she said. He's a swindler. Don't you have to catch him? They're already on their way. Who do you mean? Emperor reply. My guards. There's no point in looking around. If you can spot them, they'll be dismissed. Then I shouldn't even try, he say. By the way, you even have knowledge about crops. You surprise me every time, she reply. It's just a tidbit I came across, nothing more. Emperor Phillen said. What does it say about me if it's merely basic knowledge for you? Yet you still managed to identify that seed, she say. I mean, I didn't mean it in that way. It's just a joke. Speaking of which, I'll give you this. I think you'll make better use of these seeds, she reply. Thank you. Is there a certain seed you are looking for? He said to her. Well, kind of. There is a plant I must find. Layla think. I see. He doesn't seem to be looking for the plant for a good cause. Anyway, I'm glad I asked you for help. Can you help me find that plant I was just talking about? I don't think I'll need your help. Layla think again. Phillen said he didn't need my help, but His Majesty is telling me he does. I forgot how nice it is to be able to help someone. Yes, I certainly will. I already knew she had a beautiful smile. He say. Then, shall we? It wasn't necessary to hold hands. Well, I know that she knows how to protect herself. He think. But a man immune to poison like me could attack her or fool her into lowering her guard and harm her in other ways. Yet she simply drops her guard and follows after me like a kitten. No matter how many times I think it over, she seems too unguarded. Are you normally this trusting? Layla replied. Pardon me? I mean, you just followed me without any objection, so I was curious, she added. I thought we were headed to Green Street, the Emperor said. Right, how did you know that? You said you were looking for a plant, so I thought you would go to Green Street, since it has the most greenery, he replied. I see, Layla say. I hope you can find whatever it is that you are looking for there, he added. Are you sure about saying something like that? What if I were to use it with malicious intent? Such as, to kill someone? Then I suppose you would have had a good reason for doing so, he explained. Does that mean you trust me? She was on guard when we first met. Now, the way she's looking at me is as if, Layla reply. Yes, I trust you, Sir Cal. It was 5 years ago, the year of famine, when I learned about quilt. I had been worried since the previous year when the rain dwindled, and like I predicted, there was an extreme drought. Yes, I remember. The severity of the drought left us scrambling for war supplies. We were able to survive that year because we had stored crops beforehand, and since then, I have read a massive amount of books to find ways to prepare for droughts, he explained. And that's when you learned about the quilt seeds, which grow well in deserts, she replied. I did say I would help, but my knowledge of plants isn't that impressive, so, the Emperor Phillen added. Not at all. I haven't heard much yet, but it seems like you possess a wealth of knowledge. You being here for me is good enough for me, she think. Why is he saying such things so easily? This necklace seems quite familiar. Did I see someone wearing it at the banquet? He asked. Is there something you like? Layla replied. No, he said. I want to see that necklace, Boy added. You have great taste, sir. That necklace is a magic necklace made from a spirit stone. A spirit stone? He explained. A spirit stone has magical powers naturally, so it is very rare and hard to get. Emperor Phillen say. Then what power does this necklace have? Boy said. I will show you. Transform. Nothing is happening, he excitedly. Look at this. Isn't it incredible? This necklace can change a part of your body as you wish it to look. Isn't it amazing? That's very useless, Layla added, but the gem is quite beautiful. It must be because it is made out of a spirit stone. Right, spirit stones, in contrast to magic stones, have a more subtle color. Do you want it? Emperor reply. No, it's fine, she thought, but it's odd. I remember seeing it somewhere, but I can't recall exactly where. I guess it wasn't that important, since I can't remember. She asked. Did you find what you were looking for? No, she added. This is the biggest shop on Green Street, which means, he explained, I think we are done here. Should we get going now? Thanks for making time for me. I'll remember today and find a way to repay you next time, she replied. Not at all. I'm glad to hear I was helpful. And here, when did he buy this? And why give it to me in the first place? He said. It's a gift. It's my way of thanking you for today, Layla replied. But I haven't done much, he said. This is an imperial order. He calls it a present but orders me to take it, Layla added. Thank you, he replied. Very good. I'd rather hear you say thank you than sorry. From now on, you are to express gratitude for whatever I have to say, she asked. Is this also an order? No, this is a favor I'm asking, she again said. Thank you, the Emperor Phillen thought. She learns fast. I'd expect nothing less from someone as studious as her. Your Majesty, it is time for you to return, he said. I lost track of the hours. Then I will see you again soon, my lady, she added. Yes, Am I supposed to say thank you to this, too? He replied to her. Now that wouldn't make any sense, would it? I'll take back that you have to say thank you to everything I say. Sorry, Sarah, I'll show you around the capital next time, maid reply. No, I had enough fun today, my lady, Layla say. But you only got to see Green Street, Sarah added. It was enough for me. By the way, I have something I'm curious about, my lady. What is it? Sarah said. Who is the gentleman you met today? Does he have a higher status than you do, my lady? He's the Emperor, maid reply. So you met with the Emperor? What? That was His Majesty. Why did His Majesty? Calm down, Sarah, Sarah added. How can I calm down? He is the infamous slaughterer of Sarah. Duke, Phillen say. Have you done a lot? Does it seem so to you? Not even close, Guy added. I sincerely hope your plan isn't to work me into the ground, Your Highness, Duke replied. Why, of course not. You know how much I care about you. Then why are you always giving me all these tasks? Goose say. Because I have faith in you, God. Can you just fire me already, Your Highness? Denied. Or at least hire more aides. There's too much work to do. Duke, there, you are the only person I can count on. Should I just commit treason and spend the rest of my life in jail? But we should hire a new assistant, as you say, their reply. Really? Your Highness, will you hire more people? Yes, maybe one. Since you're at it, why not hire more? Maybe 3, Duke say. Or maybe you can handle everything on your own. No, sir. Not at all. 1 would be quite enough. I'm very glad to hear that. I'll be seeking recommendation letters from the nobility. Duke replied. Let's make them take tests instead of recommendation letters. Exams to hire new officials exist, but it has never been carried out. This is because appointment of new officials has been done through recommendations or by appointing outstanding graduates from the academy. But if I say anything now, he might change his mind and pretend as if he said no such thing. Ver said. When should we schedule the test? A month later, he added. It's a bit soon, but I'll make it happen. What about the test subject? Just administration? Duke say. No, they're taking all subjects. Administration, tax law, politics, welfare, everything. Your Highness. You are seriously adding all these to the test subjects? I guess we aren't getting a new assistant. As you wish, Your Highness. Then I'll post the announcement after the banquet, Duke replied. One more thing, make sure to add. Women can apply. On the notice, Layla think, the day of the enthronement banquet. The banquet is held for 2 days, and I'm only attending today. The second day is set aside exclusively for the men's attendance. Just need to behave well today, but Can I really? Phillen and I have been on the worst terms since the handkerchief incident. There used to be short exchanges between us, but even that stopped now. Am I needlessly concerned that things won't be any different even if we're in the banquet hall? You look magnificent, Lady Tevessa. Maybe it's the radiance of your hair resembling the night sky, but the silver gown suits you, my lady, she asked. Do you think so? Misa replied. Of course. No one will look as beautiful as you do in this gown. She's right. You look so beautiful, Layla added. I know they're just saying that to flatter me, but I haven't liked a gown this much in a while. I should reward the dressmaker once we're back at the estate. How's His Grace doing? Maid reply. His Grace is done getting ready and waiting for you in the hall, my lady. Okay, let's hurry. If we leave now, we'll arrive at the banquet right on time. My lady. No. The dress, Cicely shocked. I am so sorry. I was hurrying my way back to the room when I bumped into the door. Layla think, if she did it on purpose, it would seem reasonable for me to yell. But it just looks like an accident, and I would look bad if I yelled at her. Saran, how many gowns do we have here? Do we have any other silver gowns? It's not just any banquet, it's the enthronement banquet. The most important thing now is getting changed and arriving at the banquet as soon as possible. Misa say, we do have some back at the estate, but this is the only silver gown we brought to the capital, she added. I've already done my makeup and matched my accessories to this gown, so I don't have time to change everything. My gown is supposed to match with Phillen's attire, so I can't choose a different color either. It doesn't have to be silver. Bring me whatever looks similar to this gown. Bring the jewelries and the shoes, too. Yes, my lady. Tell His Grace that I will be late. Let him know that he can get going first. Yes, my lady. Excuse me, Lady Tevessa. Versailles. Duke Williot has arrived. He is here alone. Alone? Not with his fiancé? Yes, your highness. Duke Kalian reply. Why is he here alone? Something is wrong. Postpone the banquet. Layla Tevessa. I had never met her before, but her name was familiar to everyone in high society. Her reputation wasn't exactly glowing, with rumors swirling about the daughter of a low-ranking aristocrat having a rather fortunate connection to Duke Williot's household. Whispers circulated about her involvement, and that the Duke and Duchess treated her as their own daughter. People gossiped that Duke Williot had an affair, and that Layla was his daughter. They even said that she was his mistress. When the Duke and Duchess suddenly passed away, leaving young Phillen to become the Duke, everyone tried to take control over the dukedom. Though no open conflicts arose over the dukedom, there were those who schemed in secrecy. But strangely enough, the Williot family didn't budge at all. They remained unswayed. Duke Kalian think, how odd. Phillen Williot isn't that brilliant. So, I will be back in the capital as soon as I'm done with the inspection, so don't worry about packing. Yes, my lady. That's Phillen's? He say. I have something to tell you, she thought. What is it? That's why he's here and not with Cicely, Phillen reply. It's about our wedding preparations. Why the long face? Don't you want to marry me? She think. Of course, I should be telling him it's nothing like that, but for some reason, I couldn't say anything. It's just, I wasn't expecting you to bring that up. What do you mean? I already told you that we are getting married soon at the banquet. The ceremony will be held at the Williot estate in October, before winter arrives. What do you think? She replied. That sounds fine. October. It is quite soon, but still, I want the title of Duchess to be mine as soon as possible, so I can finally feel secure. I can't keep living in this precarious position as merely his betrothed any longer. As soon as we return to the estate, we should promptly commission the creation of our wedding attire, he added. Layla, the bride shouldn't be involved in any preparations for her wedding, Layla say. But then, who will take care of things? Please don't tell me you're going to ask Countess Tevessa, he say. I'm going to ask Cicely. In fact, she offered to help first. She used to be a princess, so I assumed she would be well versed in such matters. I entrusted her with the task, she replied. You entrusted her with our wedding, With whose permission? He say. What's wrong? Layla say. Are you seriously asking me what's wrong? Stop the carriage, she explained. I'm not sure if it's customary for a mistress to oversee wedding preparations in the Mulus Kingdom, but that's not how it's done in the Cardan Empire. If word got out that your mistress arranged our wedding, people would ridicule us. I'd prefer to seek assistance from Countess Tevessa, he replied. You are always so arrogant and selfish, Cicely added. I see that it didn't go well. Well, what do you expect? She think. I can't put it off any longer. It's time to firmly drive that wedge between them. I don't believe she's unaware of the situation. Rather, I think she's intentionally disregarding you. What? I'm sorry, forget what I said. It's just my opinion, he replied. No, you're right. It's time I set some boundaries and let her know who she's dealing with, Cicely explained. I think that would be wise. After all, how can she, the daughter of a mere count, dare to disregard a duke? In my kingdom, something like this would never have been permitted. How was your trip, your grace, my lady? Layla think. You're here, my lady? Do you have some time to spare? She say. Baron Widgeard? Yes, I have a moment. What is this about? Baron reply. I need to discuss something with you regarding preparations for the rainy season, Layla say. That matter is out of my hands. You must talk to the Duke. Of course I will, but I wanted to seek your opinion before I spoke with His Grace, Phillen added. Baron Widgeard. What were you just asking Lady Tevessa about? Baron say. It was a matter regarding preparations for the upcoming rainy season, Phillen reply. Why are you asking her, and not me? Oh, don't tell me. Do you underestimate my capabilities too? Layla replied. Please stop, your grace. Baron Widgeard was just seeking my advice, he added. You sought the advice of a lady who has only been attending to these duties for a mere few years? I will take this opportunity to make it clear. Never speak a word about this estate's affairs to Lady Tevessa again. A few days later, she think. I wasn't able to finish my conversation with Baron Widgeard. Even if people gossip about us breaking off the engagement, I feel much better now, Phillen say. Do you face any challenges with farming? No problems at all. The rainy season preparations are going seamlessly, all thanks to your grace, he think. Initially, I suspected he might struggle with the inspection, but he is doing quite well. It seems I have nothing to worry about, little boy say. Excuse me, she asked. What can I do for you? I have something to tell you. I need your help, your grace, she replied. Actually, I'm not a lord. The one standing behind you is, boy added. No, you are the lord. You're the one who's looked after us this whole time, maid shouted. What are you talking about? I'm so sorry, your grace. My child is still young, so he doesn't know what he is saying. Please forgive him, Layla replied. He didn't make any mistakes, but I believe there is something we can help you with, Phillen said. Stop. You must be tired. I advise you to get some rest in the carriage. I will take care of the rest as the lord of this manor, she say. Did something go wrong? It's none of your business. All right, Phillen added. By the way, regarding our wedding, I believe it is not a prudent idea to prepare for it together with Cicely, as you suggested. How come he listened to me all of a sudden? So, I sought the assistance of Countess Tevessa instead, she asked. What did you say? He replied. You don't seem happy. I took your opinion into consideration, so what's the matter this time? You said you'd rather ask Countess Tevessa for help instead of letting Cicely handle it, she thought. It seems as though he's deliberately trying to get on my nerves. How can he be so childish? Okay. I think I have to take 2 days off from studying for the exam, he replied. Did you just say exam? You haven't given up on it yet? Layla added. I can't simply abandon something I went so far as to get notarized, he say. How do you plan to handle the responsibilities of the Duchess's position if you secure the job as an assistant? I can manage both, he asked. Do you really think it is possible to manage both at once? She explained. I used to handle both the Duke and Duchess's responsibilities simultaneously. There's no reason I can't do the same for these two as well, Phillen replied. That was feasible only because you were overseeing the same estate. Being an official is an entirely different matter, and you'll undoubtedly have a significant workload if you become the Emperor's assistant. Do you truly believe you can handle both responsibilities? You must be forgetting something. Your role is to be my wife, overseeing the household and caring for our children. I won't let you neglect your duties just because you want to do something else, Layla think. Well, he isn't wrong. That's what the previous Duchess told me to do as well, and I also thought that was right. But why? Why do I want to refute what he said? A few days later. I'm so exhausted, Sarah say. You must be. My lady, are you now ready to begin your wedding preparations soon? She reply. Yes. I think I can take care of a few things when I come back. And the Countess will manage the rest, Layla added. She is already behaving as if she's the Duke's mother-in-law. I followed her instructions without a word, and now she's conducting herself as if she holds some significance in this household. At least now, I can concentrate on preparing for the exam. I wasted 2 days already, so I can't afford to take my time. Sarah, we are going to the capital tomorrow. Yes, my lady. I've already finished packing. Do you like candy, my lady? Layla asked. Candy? Why all of a sudden? I made some candy with the others in the kitchen this afternoon. Would you like to try one? Layla replied. Yes, please. Thank you. It's strawberry flavored. Lady Tavessa, when I'm gloomy, I eat a strawberry candy. It makes me feel better. I hope it works for you too, my lady. That strawberry candy was really delicious, Sarah say. Isn't it delicious? Do you want to try different flavors too? It's okay. Thank you for asking, Sarah added. Is it because the candy didn't taste good? Layla replied. No, it's not that. I just like the flavor of the strawberry candy. You do? Yes. Thank you, Sarah, Layla say. I should sleep now, since I have to leave early tomorrow. This sound. It can't be. Not already. The rainy season? Is it really impossible? Sorry, my lady. It's too dangerous. It's not your fault at all, so you don't need to apologize, Layla say. It would certainly be far too dangerous to navigate a carriage in this weather. The reason the Duke and Duchess met their untimely end 9 years ago was also because their carriage slipped in the rain, Sarah asked. What should we do, my lady? Then when do you reckon it'll be safe to take the carriages out? He replied. I can't say for sure yet. She think. It might take up to 4 days, at the very least. That means I'll have 8 days left after I get to the capital. It's very tight, but I don't really have any other choice. Once the rain subsides enough to drive a carriage, please inform me. Yes, my lady. 3 days later, Layla thought. It's been 3 days already. At this rate, I'm not sure if I can leave tomorrow. I've been feeling anxious all day. As if something bad could happen at any moment. My lady, there's terrible news. The Duke and Duchess were. My lady? My goodness, look at how much you're sweating. Layla replied. I'm fine. What's the matter? Servant explained. It's urgent. The riverbank has crumbled. What did you say? I need to talk to the Duke immediately. Baron Widgeard, I just heard that the riverbank broke down. How bad is the damage? The fields were completely flooded, and the river swept people away. People are in harm's way. We need to find a solution now, someone added. At this rate, the damage will be too severe for the autumn harvest. Even the upper riverbank is falling apart. We have to do something to stop this. Please give us your orders, Your Grace, Phillen say. Then, get started with fixing the river. She entered. What are you talking about? What brings you here? She replied. That's of little importance. What we have to do now is to prevent further damage, Layla said. If we attempt to repair the riverbank in the rain, it will only lead to more casualties. We need to evacuate people and wait for the rain to subside, Phillen replied. Then what about the crops? Layla shouted. We can grow the crops again, but we can't bring people back if they die. Sir Lehen, summon all the guards to the hall. We are going to go save the people. Yes, my lady, she added. And you, summon all the horsemen and prepare all the carriages. Those who are injured and unable to walk will need to be carried in them. Yes, my lady. Misa, head over to the annex and ensure that it's cleaned up properly for the flood victims to stay. Also, call for some physicians to attend to any injured individuals. Right away, my lady, Layla explained. I'll accept the consequences for disobeying your orders at a later time. And if anything goes wrong, I'll take full responsibility for that as well. But at this moment, our priority is to rescue the people. So I humbly ask for your patience, Your Grace. Man say, I heard it was Lady Layla that sent us the carriages. How reassuring of her. I hope she officially becomes the Duchess soon, other replied. I agree. I hope she'll continue to oversee the land for a long time. But why did the riverbank break down now, after all these years without any problems? About that, he explained. His Grace was the one who made preparations for the rainy season this year. His Grace told Lady Layla to stay away from any business related to the duchy, Man added reply. Why would he do that? It's not as if he knows much about managing the lands. His Grace should have let Lady Layla handle it. Right. She is truly competent. Actually, she might make a better landlady. Everything had been going well before His Grace returned to the duchy, Guy said. They were saying, Phillen replied. How dare they disrespect me like that? Baron Widgered, why was the budget for the rainy season reduced by half? Baron replied. His Grace made some changes before confirming the budget. He banned me from sharing the details with you, my lady. I apologize, she added. There's nothing that you should apologize for. Then I suppose there must be a new document for the current reduced budget. Yes, here it is. He cancelled the hiring of wizards and even changed the rocks along the riverbank, she said. Doesn't His Grace know that the rivers and streams in our land include a substantial amount of quan? Baron explained. I did inform him, but he dismissed my concerns, claiming I was overreacting and insisting that other bodies of water also possessed just as much quan. Layla thought. Well, I guess it makes sense, since the previous Duke and Duchess didn't know either. I only figured it out when I was doing research on droughts. I discovered that quan has a corrosive effect on specific types of rocks. Consequently, I opted for granite when choosing stones to line the river instead. Though it came at a high cost, preventing any flood victims seemed like the right decision. She became upset. With the budget cuts, the damage expenses have multiplied. I need to talk to the Duke first. I need to speak with Phillen, for the future well-being of the people in this duchy. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, as it really helps our channel grow. Thanks.